Hey guys, so today what we're going to be doing is we're still going to complete the square to solve quadratics, yet I'm going to give you different examples that look a little different, but you're still going to use the same process, okay? So I just want to expose you to different types of examples that might look a little different, but we're still going to use the same steps. So first we're going to look at today different quadratics that have an odd number in the b spot. For example, x squared minus 7x plus 13. Yesterday, when we were having them, they came out to nice numbers. Today, they're not going to be so nice. So you're definitely going to need a calculator on hand. In addition to that, I'm also going to show you sometimes you're going to see examples where c is already moved to the other side. So I don't want you to have a heart attack when you see something like that. So I want to just show you something that looks like that. For example, it's still going to have an odd b, so it would be x squared minus 5x equals 8. So how do we approach something like that? So this is where the notes are going to start us. So in this particular question, it says solve x squared minus 5x equals 8 by completing the square. All of our answers are going to be kept in radical form, not simplest radical form today. I'm going to jump up to that tomorrow. Each day we're going to kind of do a little twist to it. Today we're just going to keep it as in simplest, in radical form. The steps that we're going to follow are still the same. So let's get started. So first, you want to isolate the x terms, but if you notice, your x terms are already on the one side and our 8 is over there. So as long as your x's are to one side and your 8 is on the other side, we're just going to add in a box to hold the spot. So this is how we're going to rewrite it. We're going to put x squared minus 5x plus a box equals 8 plus a box. So instead of having to move it, it's already in its position. We just have to add a box next to it. Same thing like we did yesterday. We're going to take b, which in this case is negative 5. We're going to halve it and then square it. So negative 5 halved is negative 2.5. So we're going to be squaring a decimal. So we're going to take negative 2.5, put in our calculator with parentheses, because you'll get a negative answer, but it should come out to be positive 6.25. So make sure you pause the video and get this down. Now that's the number that goes in our square, because that's the number we got when we squared it. So we're going to put that number, that's step 3. We're going to fill it into each side, into the square. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. And now we're going to clean it up, just make it look nicer. So we'll keep the left-hand side the same, x squared minus 5x plus 6.25. But on the right-hand side, I'm going to add 8 and 6.25 and get 14.25. All right, now we just made our perfect square trinomial on the left. Now, many of you are like, how are we going to factor that? Well, think about what I kept saying over the past 2 days. That number, do you see it in purple over there that I just boxed off, the negative 2.5, is going to be the number in our factor. It has always been that number. So when we factor it, we don't have to worry about factoring. Two numbers that multiply to positive 6.25 that add to negative 5 is going to be negative 2.5. So when we factor it, we just have to put that number in our parentheses. So it's going to be x minus 2.5, x minus 2.5 equals 14.25. Now we're going to rewrite as a perfect square trinomial like we did yesterday. Then we square root both sides. So please pause the video and make sure you get this down. That allows us to take the x minus 2.5 out of the parentheses with the squared. And on the other side, we're going to get a plus or minus radical 14.25. Now we're just going to be solving it for both sides. So how do I do that? I need to get x by itself. So I'm going to add 2.25 to both sides. That crosses off on the left-hand side. And I bring down my x and my equals and my 2.25. And then next to it, I write plus or minus radical 14.25. So please pause the video and make sure you get this down. Now remember, we have two possible answers. Our two answers are 2.5 plus radical 14.25 or 2.25 minus radical 14.25. So like I said, today we're going to be just dealing with ugly numbers. That's why I want to just keep it in radical form. But that's how we're going to be working on it today. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is try the next two on your own. And when you're finished with that, you're going to submit to me a couple of classwork problems. Okay, so complete the try these on your own. and then check with those 2 examples, and then choose 3 of the last 6 classwork examples on your own. Send me a picture like yesterday, and all the work, and all of your work. If you show me only the answers again, that's gonna result in a 0 for classwork today because I have to see what you're doing. Remember, it doesn't have to be done on any sort of paper, and, it could be on any sort of paper, not the actual worksheet, and that's it. So email me if you have any questions. Good luck.